everybody, Billy Bob here, and happy Christmas Eve. It's the Tuesday before Christmas Eve. So we're going to do a little Monday morning quarterback NFL edition. So we're going to try and muddle through this. That's what I told Mrs. Billy Bob. I said, I'm just going to try and muddle through it. Here's the format for today. Hopefully I remember what I'm getting ready to tell you. We're going to talk about injuries. We're going to talk about Ohio State receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, what they did over the weekend. And then we're just going to scroll through some of the games and, throw out a comment or two here, maybe a stat, a few different things. And, make sure, do you like my video? If you like it. If you don't like it anyway. I mean, it's worth your while. I don't know why, but it could be. Make sure you tell all your friends and frenemies, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's all over. Not everybody uses the same social media forum, so we'll keep it there. All right, so how did I say the format was going to go? We're going to talk about injuries. We're going to talk about Ohio State key players, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and then we're going to muddle through the comments here and there on the games. I guess we go all the way back to Thursday night, right? So, all right, injuries. There were some really significant. Actually, it seems like the last few weeks I've been saying significant, right? Because we had Patrick Mahomes with the torn ACL out for the rest of the year. By the way, we'll get to his replacement here in just a minute. But we'll start out with the stinking Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson, injured his back. He took a helmet shot to the kidney area. They listed him as questionable. They had Tyler Huntley in the game, and Lamar never came back. Travion Henderson, running back, Buckeye, running back for the New England Patriots, took a shot to the head. Actually, not a shot to the head, but when he was tackled, hit his head hard on the turf, and immediately went to the locker room, done for the rest of the game, evaluated for concussion. He's in concussion protocol. I don't know, maybe as of today, but as of actually this morning, they hadn't determined whether it was a full-on concussion or not. Vikings running back Jordan Mason, he suffered an ankle injury on the team's first possession of the game, carted to the locker room, not to return. They said based on his body language, they don't expect that he would probably be back for the end of the year. J.J. McCarthy, Vikings rookie quarterback, he left the game in the first half, injury to his throwing hand on a strip sack. He was out. They ruled him out, and they brought in Max Brosmer. I don't know where Max Brosmer's from. I wasn't curious enough to look it up. Quinshon Judkins, what a gruesome injury for him. It's bad enough you dislocate your ankle or you break your fibula, but he did both on the same play. Done for the year. I don't know if he's having surgery. I don't know if surgery is required for either of those or both of those, but we'll see. They're saying it may even affect him early into next year. But the Browns were also without Dylan Sampson, who's been out injured. Gardner Minshew, this is where I was telling you about the replacement for Patrick Mahomes, Gardner Minshew. Minshew suffered a knee injury, and he was ruled out at halftime. He got injury in the first half. I believe he also suffered a torn ACL. So here's one where I was curious. Their quarterback that came in was Chris Odakumen. Maybe I pronounced that right. Old Oladokun. Old Akun, maybe. So he's born in Tampa. He went to high school in Tampa. He went to college at USF, University of South Florida. Then he went to Samford in Alabama. And then he ended up at South Dakota State. We all know how the transfer portal works. He was a 7th round pick in the 2022 draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers and somehow made his way to the Kansas City Chiefs. So the good news for the Chiefs is they're eliminated from the playoffs. The bad news is they're eliminated from the playoffs and they're without their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback. Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers, another quarterback injury. He left last week's game after taking a big hit, and still in concussion protocol. Malik Willis was the quarterback. See some other notables. Another quarterback, Marcus Mariota, left the game Saturday against the Eagles. Finger injury. Jaden Daniels, their starting quarterback's already out for the year. I'll give you a few more here. Eagles linebacker Nakobe Dean, hamstring, but wasn't serious. So they expect him to be back quickly. Arizona, you don't want guys to get hurt, but Arizona's done for the year. Couple big blows. Edge rusher Josh Sweat, ankle. Cornerback Garrett Williams, and Achilles. Now that's a tough one. And defensive lineman Walter Nolan, knee. Tough stuff. Wide receiver Pat Bryant for the Broncos. Scary injury, apparently late. He had movement in his extremities. I guess there was some question of that during the game. So I did not see that. A lot of these games I didn't see. I was on an airplane. And but we'll go through them anyway, right? Okay, OSU wide receivers, Ohio State wide receivers, quarterback, running backs. We'll give it a Emeka Ibuka, 1 catch, 40 yards, no touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr., 1 catch, 14 yards. Marvin just on his way back from appendix surgery, had his appendix removed. No touchdowns. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's going wild in the NFL this year. 8 catches, 96 yards, 1 touchdown with a long of 27. Chris Olave, another big day. 10 catches, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, a long of 38. Garrett Wilson did not play. I guess he's still got some nagging injuries. Terry McLaurin, Washington Commanders, 3 catches, 53 yards, no touchdowns with a long of 40. Jeremy Ruckert, tight end for the Jets, 2 catches, 14 yards with a long of 10. And as far as receivers go, Cade Stover, Houston Texans, 2 catches, 7 yards, no touchdowns, long of 5. Running backs, I just told you about Quinshon Judkins, but before he got hurt, he had 8 carries, 22 yards with a long of 5, and 5 catches for 29 yards with a long of 15. And then Trey Henderson, after his big day last week, really a not even mediocre, less than mediocre day. 5 carries, 3 yards, 1 catch for 9 yards, no touchdowns. And then C.J. Stroud, man, the camera makes you look fat, doesn't it? C.J. Stroud, 23 out of 35, 187 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, and then Justin Fields didn't play. So, and the Texans won. So let's get to, there's an article about Tua and Kyler Murray about, are these guys at the end? I mean, they're 6 years now into the league. They've underperformed, and they both had, you know what? I don't know if Murray had a replacement, but obviously with the Dolphins, they had Quinn Ewers made his first NFL start. So we'll talk about that as we start going down the list here. Ewers was 20 out of 30, 260 yards, averaged 8.7 yards per reception or completion, but he did have 2 picks and no touchdowns. So that was a kind of a mediocre day. He got some support from the running attack. They had 129 yards. It was one of those things where when you look at, and I always talk about this, I did a lot yesterday. When you look at the stats, you would think that this game should have been a lot closer than 45-21 with the Bengals coming out on top, but it wasn't. I mean, the Dolphins dominated time of possession. No, they didn't. That was another game. They did not. Skip that. All right. But congratulations to the Bengals. They went down to Miami and pulled out a big win. Actually, it was the Cleveland Browns they lost to the Buffalo Bills 23-20. They gave it a valiant effort, but they had a big time of possession differential. They had 35 minutes time of possession to Buffalo's 24. The Browns got to within 3 with 8 minutes 44 seconds to go. They only had 2 more possessions, and they really crapped the bed on both of them. They lost 5 yards on one, 4 and out, and then the other one 4 and out, and they lost 11 yards. So kind of crappy, mediocre day for Shedeur. 20 out of 29, which is pretty good. 1 touchdown, okay. 2 picks, not so good, right? You got to throw to your team. Oh, man. Let's see what we got here. The Rams-Seahawks, that was a Thursday night game. You know, the Seahawks were down 16. They came back. I told you what Jackson Smith and Jigba had. They also, Seattle also had Kenneth Walker III, gained 100 yards. The Eagles keep on rolling. They're 10-5. I didn't pay attention to who clinched. I told you who clinched last week. I think the only team I saw that may have clinched this week is the New England Patriots, but we can take a look before we get out of here. The Bears came back, beat the Packers in overtime. Again, I told you Jordan Love got hurt in that game. We just touched on the Browns-Bills. The Chargers, the Cowboys, they're eliminated from the playoffs. Chargers beat them 34-17. The Titans, who are now 3-12, dominated the Kansas City Chiefs 26-9. By the way, did you see the Chiefs are moving out of Kansas City, Missouri, and are moving to somewhere in Kansas? Didn't say Kansas City, Kansas. I know they're building their practice facility in Olathe. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Olathe, Kansas. Saints beat the hapless Jets. I mean, neither team. Saints are 5-10. Jets are 3-12. They beat them up 29-6. Vikings, I don't think they're eliminated just yet, but they won. They pulled out the game. They're playing the Giants. Come on now. 16-13. J.J. McCarthy, very pedestrian. 9 of 14, 108 yards, and 1 interception, no touchdowns. I guess he didn't do the gritty this week like he did last week and got himself in trouble from the coaches, right? They told him, don't do it, JJ, but he's a Michigan man, so he did it. What happened to the Buccaneers? The Tampa Bay Bucks. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games. They lost to the Panthers, who they're fighting in the division for first place, because I don't know that the winner of or whoever wins the division is going to make the playoffs. I don't think the second place team is going to make the playoffs. That's still yet to be determined, but the Bucks are now 7-8 and the Panthers are 8-7. So let's see, if you lost 6 of your last 7, that means you were 6-2 before you went on that stretch of just puking it up. Jags keep on rolling. They have to be the most surprising team to me in the NFL. 11-4. Trevor Lawrence, maybe he found his mojo. And they beat the Broncos. They beat them 34-20. Now the Broncos, another surprising team. They're 12-3. They were 12-2 until they got beat by the Jags. So, congratulations to the Jags. They've struggled a lot, but they're rolling on. And then we got the Falcons over the Cardinals. I told you the Cardinals were pretty hapless. So neither quarterback. I mean, there's another one, Atlanta. They drafted Michael Penix. They consider him, I don't know if Atlanta does, but the top prognosticators, the experts, the they saids, consider Michael Penix a bust at this point. And so let's take a look at the box score here, because I said I wasn't sure if Kyler Murray played in this game or not. He did not. Jacoby Brissett played the whole game, 16 out of 31, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And then Kirk Cousins played for the Falcons. Okay, a lot of people think Kirk Cousins is still a good quarterback, but he was the backup until Penix pooped the bed and they had to replace him. Cousins, 21 of 35, 197 yards, averaged 5.5 yards of completion, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So, I don't want to overuse the word pedestrian, but that was, or mediocre, but it's getting to be just the way it is. That's the way these things are. Steelers pulled one out over the Lions. Steelers now 9-6. Lions, disappointing year at 8-7. Texans beat the hapless Raiders. Texans are 10-5. Even with C.J. Stroud starting off mediocre, then having a concussion, Davis Mills came in to replace him. C.J.'s back, and he's been looking pretty good. So the Raiders 2-13. Not looking so good for Pete Carroll in his comeback tour to the NFL. And then the Patriots, big comeback over the stinking Ravens, 28-24. And then the Niners, Brock Purdy had a really nice game. I believe he had 5 touchdown passes. 25 of 34, 285 yards, 295 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So, but maybe the story, Brock Purdy is the story of that game, but maybe the real story should be Phillip Rivers. After 5 years out of the NFL, the Colts signed him this week because they had a lot of quarterback injuries. They signed him this week. Okay, sat out for 5 years. Signed him this week. 23 out of 35, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. In most cases, that's good enough to win the game. But they got thumped by the Niners 48-27. So I don't have anything else. Let me know if you have anything else. Let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on some of these games. And we'll do it again next week. It's a wrap. America, land of the free because of the brave. Stay focused, America. Billy Bob, peace out. Somebody should have told me my collar was all wackadoodle. Peace out.